I'm James Rule. Welcome to the Lonely Leader podcast, where we help existing and aspiring leaders find clarity, build resilience, drive performance, and enhance fulfillment. I'm a big believer that there's always opportunity in adversity. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about a very challenging period in my life, but the hugely positive consequences of that experience. Now, many of you will probably live the same existence I did when I was operating as a chief executive, and that is you wake by the alarm of your mobile phone. You creep out of the bedroom, try not to wake your partner, and immediately start skimming alerts, emails, messages. That was all I knew. That was how I started most days. And on this one particular day, I walked into the bathroom, mobile phone in hand, and the next thing I knew, my wife was picking me up. And long story short, it turns out I'd collapsed with pneumonia, and one lung was covered, one lung was partially covered, and I was very fortunate that it was caught, addressed, and dealt with. But one of the fundamental questions I found myself asking when I was given an enforced 2 weeks off work, and I was told in no uncertain terms I was no longer allowed to use my mobile phone, it had to be locked away, it forced me to reflect on how and what had got me to that position. And the brutal reality was it was working at an unrelenting intensity, long days with limited focus on recovery. And it also really made me explore how I start my days. I'd heard people talk about the power of a morning routine, but the reality was I had absolutely zero morning routine. And I just want to paint that picture for you now to ask that question. There's no judgment. This is where I was, and this is where I find a lot of clients. Do you get out of bed and immediately leap into quite a frazzled state of trying to get the kids ready for school, walking the dog, dealing with the household needs and the needs of your family, whilst also scanning the emails and the forthcoming agendas, meetings, and tasks of the day? If the answer is yes, that is the norm. But the reality is, it is really corrosive to our mindset. We step into the day stressed, frazzled, whether that's working from home or driving into the office. Now, my pushback on a morning routine, I'm sure, is the same pushback that you will give me, that I have zero time to create any space for myself at the start of the day. There are too many needs for me. When I get up, my children need me, my partner needs me, my phone demands my attention, my pets demand my attention. And that's a valid point. And I'm not here to judge. I'm simply here to talk about the changes I made and the significant increase of productivity, well-being, and fulfillment that it created in my professional role as a chief executive, and why I am now so passionate about exploring how to start improving that morning routine with each and every leader and client I now work with. So I want to start today by sharing what is a very, very quick, very easy to implement, but what I believe to be an extremely impactful tool to use as part of your morning routine. And it's called the 3 and 3. So the first half of that equation is I want you to focus on entering a state of gratitude. It's a scientific fact that it is physically impossible to be in a state of gratitude at the same time you're in a state of fear, anger, anxiety. And too many of us start our day with a sense of dread in our gut at the level of work we have to get done, the stress that work's creating, the meetings that we've potentially got ahead of us in the day. So the way to get into that state of gratitude is just to take a moment to reflect on the previous day and ask yourself the question, what 3 things am I grateful for from yesterday? Now, that can be professional, things from your role, things that happened at work, but equally, it could be things in your personal life. It could be a cherished moment with your partner, the sound of your children laughing, playing a game with your children, taking your dog out for a walk, enjoying a summer's evening. It can be anything that puts you in a state of gratitude. Now, ideally, I'd love you to have your own notebook that you use to jot this down and you keep it close. The second element is 3 things that you're looking forward to in the day ahead. Now, again, this isn't about creating a lengthy document. It's just bullet point format. But 3 things. It could be catching up with an old friend. It could be a date night with your partner. It could be watching one of your children at a sports practice after school. And equally, it could be something to do with your professional role. But what's interesting in this exercise is it's not always just about what appear to be outwardly positive experiences, because I appreciate they're not always available each and every single day. So if you have things ahead of you that appear daunting, a difficult conversation with a colleague, or what's going to be a difficult meeting with your boss, for instance, rather than dread that, reframe it to say, I'm looking forward to resolving that situation. I'm looking forward to a positive discussion and a positive outcome. So those 2 exercises take a matter of minutes. Again, I would encourage you to perhaps have that notebook. The way I like to implement it is I sit down at my desk. Before I allow myself to log onto my computer, I'll just put my cup of coffee down and I'll jot those things down. Now, I'm hearing the resistance. I hear the resistance all the time. People will say, I haven't got that time. That's absolutely fine. So I'll just offer an alternative solution rather than writing it down. That is, do it while you're brushing your teeth. Now, hopefully that silences any objections, because I sincerely hope that everybody listening to this still has time to brush their teeth in the morning. So we all know we should be spending a couple of minutes doing that. So rather than just letting your mind wander about the day ahead, consciously ask yourself those questions. What 3 things am I grateful for from yesterday? And what 3 things can I look forward to today? It's a first step. I'm the first to say that a morning routine takes some time, it takes some discipline, it takes some commitment, and there are a number of layers and facets that we can build in. But for each and every one of us that says my morning routine is chaotic, I do not have time to make a change, this is the non-negotiable. This we all have time to do, and this I have seen helps empower our mindset, helps us step into the day, because it immediately reminds us that there are always things to be grateful for, and there are always things to look forward to. And a big part of everything I do with existing and aspiring leaders is we're looking to empower mindset. And this is one of the most effective ways that I have found, both from personal experience and through working with clients, to do just that. So I wish you the best of luck. As ever, I'd love to hear your feedback on how you find that exercise. And remember, leadership on the outside must always start within. Thanks for listening to the Lonely Leader podcast. I'd be very grateful if you could share and follow if the content resonates. And if you're looking for additional free resource to support your continued growth and development, then please do check out our social media and website details in the show notes. Remember, quality leadership on the outside must always start within.